It's no question that AI and its various uses are a very hotly debated topic these days, as it's seen a surge of popularity and is seemingly threatening to take over almost every creative industry out there. Video games are not immune to the siren song of AI, and even our beloved Nihon Falcom is currently looking into ways to find various uses for AI, mostly in regards to translation, but who knows what else they could use it for in the future. Hello everybody, I know I'm a bit late to this bit of news here, but I felt this was something that was pretty important to discuss here on the channel, as it quite possibly could affect the future of Falcom, for better or for worse. Recently, at the Tokyo Game Show that took place at the end of September, the outlet 4Gamer got to interview Falcom's president Toshihiro Kondo about their new AI translation engine called Ella. Now, I won't be going over the specific lines in question to simply avoid spoilers for Kai no Kiseki, as I imagine most people watching this are English-only players. But 4Gamer started off by asking, "What do you think of the translation of Ella?" In which Kondo responded, "As you can see in the translation of redacted lines, there are times when he misunderstands the subtleties, but I also felt that there are times when he translates so well that I was shocked. Although it is still far from human beings, I cannot help but think it is an amazing technology compared to a decade ago. That is true, it has seen vast improvements. I've had a couple of different AI art pieces pop up on my Twitter feed that if it wasn't disclosed that they were created using AI, I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell." Kondo then continues, "I myself used to play PC games made overseas that were translated into Japanese, but I think the texts used were probably at the level of primary translation now. In comparison, the translation of Ella is of a much higher level. In addition, since AI will learn more and more, I feel that even if humans eventually need to do it, it will be possible to reduce the work time considerably in the future. And this is the main point. As a company, especially a tiny company like Falcom, having something like this in your back pocket that could theoretically reliably translate these games, and simply having a localization team looking over the scripts and making any slight changes that they need to, and possibly getting worldwide releases or even slashing the development time considerably, would only serve to increase immediate profits and help Falcom pump out even more titles quicker at a much faster pace. So from a business perspective, I understand the draw entirely." Then 4Gamer asks, "For example, are there any concerns about human jobs being taken away, especially in English-speaking countries? Negative opinions about AI translation seem to be conspicuous." Yes, they are. That is generally what most people bring up about the usage of AI, that artists won't have jobs, that translators won't have jobs. It'll take jobs away from those people specifically, the ones in the more creative fields. Kondo says, "I personally believe that if the trend in the world is to move in the direction of utilizing AI, it is unavoidable. I agree 100% with what he says. Technology will always be improved upon. And the usage of AI to companies and shareholders alike, the draw to this kind of technology is almost too much to resist. It's something that, in their eyes, has potentially endless value. It's like automation today, where back in the day, cars used to be made by hand. Now they're all made with machines. It's just a natural progression of things." And Kondo even says, similarly here, "In England at the beginning of the 19th century, there was a Luddite movement in which workers rebelled against the introduction of machinery, and perhaps a similar phenomenon is occurring. I mean, how, for example, again, another point to the automation process, blacksmiths used to be in every town. Every town you would go to would have a blacksmith, possibly multiple. Now, blacksmiths don't exist anymore. Jobs, unfortunately, are not these ever existing things. They change and evolve with time. So, the only thing I think we can hope for is to essentially treat localizers and artists in the same sense as an engineer, where in the automation field, you still need someone to perform maintenance on all those machines to make sure that they're working properly. So hopefully we can utilize artists and localizers in that same mindset, in that same vein, to where they're still present and watching over the AI process and making any necessary changes and alterations that would be beneficial or due to any mistakes that it might cause. Kondo continues, looking back, it is also a historical fact that the role of human beings has changed due to mechanized society, and a society of one rank has been formed. By increasing the speed of translation through AI, there is a possibility that various cultural exchanges will be promoted. That's something I didn't think of, that's true. In the case of games, only well-known titles have been translated until now, but if it becomes easier for even slightly maniacal titles, I'm assuming it means, lesser-known titles that stick with some people to be translated into multiple languages, it'll be a great benefit for creators, because that's true. How many lesser-known Japanese titles are there that have never been translated? There's tons of them. Just look at the fan translation scene. Some people may be temporarily deprived of their jobs, but overall I think society will enjoy the benefits of AI in the future. This is especially true for game development. Wargamer then asks, so is there any possibility of introducing AI translation, such as Ella, as Japan Falcom? Kondo replies, speed is also an important factor in game development. Until about 20 years ago, 8 to 9% of our customers were Japanese. Recently, however, the proportion of overseas exports has been increasing, especially in Asia. In fact, if we don't sell our games overseas, we may not be able to deliver our games to customers in Japan. Wow. Based on this, we believe that AI translation has potential in shortening the time it takes to deliver to overseas customers and improving accuracy. Yeah, that's basically the point that I brought up earlier. Delivering it to as many people as quickly as possible to further increase the amount of funds that Falcom has immediate access to. That could be used to further enhance the quality of all their future projects. I mean, it's probably no stretch of the imagination to say that all the improvements that we've seen in the promotional material for Kai no Kiseki that the Trails series has gone through has only really been possible because of the series' massive success overseas. Yes, we are a very small niche market for these kinds of games. We are a very devout, very rabid, very loyal fan base. We truly love these games, and Falcom has our wallets in the palm of their hands. And ultimately, that's the goal of a business, is to create a loyal customer base that you can keep making products to sell to. Wargamer responds, the more global the gaming market becomes, the more important it is to figure out how to overcome language barriers. Yeah, let's go, Lloyd. They should have called the AI translation program Lloyd, with the slogan, getting over the translation barrier. getting over the language barrier. I guess both work. That's why the Trails series is a game that enjoys the story, so it still requires human power to make the final adjustments to the translated words and dialogue. However, by entrusting the primary translation to AI, it is possible to compress the entire process. Wouldn't that eventually speed up development? That's kind of what I'm thinking Because if they use AI to translate their script, and then they send the script to NISA or whoever to then look over the script, a lot of the work is basically already done. Now, to counterpoint that argument, I have seen people bring up that an incorrect translation from AI sent over to a team will actually further increase the amount of time it would take for them to translate that script, because you're having to constantly cross-reference it with the actual script to make sure that what's being said is actually correct. And if you need to make a whole bunch of changes, well, then you're essentially doing double the work at this point, because you're translating the original script while also trying to translate the AI-generated script. Now, I do think that as the technology continues to advance and progress, those worries might become less and less likely, but at this point, I'm not sure. Gamer then says, you don't want to miss out on the season of a game because it takes a long time to translate when you want to expand overseas. Because I think they're about to get into the fact that, in Japan, they're, at this point, still 2 releases ahead as far as the Trails series. Kondo says, that's right, the Trails series cannot be released simultaneously worldwide because the amount of text is many times larger than that of ordinary RPGs. Also because they don't hand over the script until they're absolutely finished with the Japanese version and it's released into the market. We make it in Japanese until the very last minute, and then the translation begins. Oh, he literally said it right in the next sentence. So the overseas version is inevitably released 1 year later at the earliest. Earliest. Under such circumstances, if we can use AI translation to release an overseas version in 6 months or at the same time, we will be grateful as a business owner, and it will not be a bad thing for our fans. In theory. I think that's the key underlying tone, is in theory it wouldn't be a bad thing. Gamer then says, it's possible the localized version of the previous game hasn't been released overseas, but a new game has already been released in Japan. Yes, they brought up what I brought up already. That's right, Kondo said. On the other hand, there are staff members at Nihon Falcom who remain cautious about AI, especially in the designer team. They are in a position where their drawings and designs could be illegally diverted to AI. We've seen that happen a lot recently, where companies will take the work of an artist, feed it to an AI program, and then fire the artist because, well, they don't need the artist anymore. They can just continuously generate new artwork. And because the person, works at the company, their work isn't technically their work, it's the company's work. So there's nothing illegal about it, it's just, kind of a prick thing to do to your employees. So I understand their concerns. This is a different situation from translation, but I would like to find a better way to use it, not to deny humans or AI. Gamer says, in the end, it's important to be flexible in incorporating new technologies and making better things and delivering them to the world. Kondo finishes this interview by saying, yes, now that a new technology has emerged, we cannot escape from it. We want to keep a close eye on the issues and get along with them. I think this was a very good interview, and it did bring up a lot of very interesting points about the usage of AI, and the potential that it does have in terms of not just Falcom, but the video game industry as a whole. I think I really like the idea of, if this is something that could prove to be easily accessible and fairly accurate enough that it can be passed off to a translation team to then give it a once-over, make any minor changes or adjustments, and ship it out to a potential customer base, it can only really serve to benefit everyone involved. Well, except, the customers, because we don't have limited time to play games, so if they... have you seen this past year? Have you seen this upcoming year? I really don't know how anybody has all the time for these games. The gaming industry needs to take a break. Guys, chill. You need to stop releasing games for at least 5 years. Let us all catch up. Please. There's too many to choose from. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear, your in-depth reasoning for why you think this is a good thing or why you think this is a bad thing. But I'm going to end this one here. If you guys could, please leave a like on the video on your way out. And of course, a very special thank you to all my current channel members and supporters over on Patreon. If anybody else wants to support the channel, links are in the description. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Alright, what's next?